We've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now. And Caitlin Clark is really high. One could argue she's not high enough. But I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
We've got ESPN's latest rankings of WNBA players, and Caitlin Clark is ranked surprisingly high. Some might argue not high enough. But one thing's for sure, Angel Reese is nowhere to be seen in the top 10.
So, let's all get a laugh together here, because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list?
Yep, she's missing from the list entirely.
Moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Sorry, but the reality check is here. Angel Reese is in complete disbelief after ESPN's 2025 rankings dropped, and let's just say, reality hit harder than any defender she's boxed out this season.
Okay. And lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen number 2, they had Caitlin Clark. I said, really?
She carried herself like the undisputed queen of the court.
People say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
Radiating that, I'm the face of women's basketball energy. But ESPN had other ideas, placing her not in the top 5, not even the top 10.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball. Great. Nothing else. She has not, she's got self-awareness. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
But at number 12, that's right, 12th place. And let's be honest, even that feels a bit generous.
We did go off of how much winning Caitlin was doing, how she was contributing to winning, and then going off the viewership and all that. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Caitlin should have won.
Looks like the crown has slipped, and now she's reacting like someone just snatched her favorite designer sunglasses.
And now she knows it to the point that even when she's on the basketball court, she's aware, like, this ain't really my thing. Let me get this hot potato out of my hand and to somebody that knows what they're doing with it as soon as possible. You got to see this clip. This is a 3-on-3 basketball game. Angel Reese strips a player at one end, runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her.
Full meltdown mode. Maybe ESPN caught a glimpse of her latest blooper reel at Unrivaled.
Not mine. So don't be chirping, getting mad if your fave isn't at the top. So at number 1, we have Cameron Brink. Number 2, Angel Reese. Number 3, Kate Martin. 4, Rickea Jackson. 5, Julie Vanloo. And 6, Kate.
Let's take a look at the list, shall we? Do you see Angel Reese on here? Because I sure don't. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is sitting comfortably in second place, completely unfazed, letting her game do the talking while Reese scrambles to save face. Not too long ago, people were pushing this so-called rivalry, trying to put Reese on Clark's level as if it was a real debate. Even the commissioner tried to sell it, comparing their rivalry to a historic one from 1979, emphasizing how sports thrive on rivalries. But let's be real, the debate is over. The gap isn't just obvious, it's embarrassing. Clark didn't even have to try, and she's already miles ahead, while Reese is probably scrolling through her mentions, trying to cope with the rankings. The truth is, this is downright humiliating for Angel Reese. She had all the hype, all the media attention, and all the trash talk. She built her brand around being that girl, the so-called game changer. But when it was time to back it up, she found herself outside the top 10, clutching a participation trophy. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been minding her business.
Ionescu, Clark is not better than Stewart. They Glazing Clark is not better than Ionescu, blah, blah, blah. No matter what Caitlin Clark does, she's going to have some haters out there. It's just they're losing their minds over all the people that have either been traded for and signed for the Indiana Fever right now. And, of course, it looks like a powerhouse of a team.
Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2, Brianna number 3, and now we really have Brianna over Nafisa in terms of projections going into next year. Stop. Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2, Brianna number 3, and now Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2, Brianna number 3, and now Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2. We really have Brianna over Nafisa in terms of projections going into next year. Stop. Nafisa Collier is definitely top 2 in this. Asia number 1, Caitlin number 2, Brianna number 3.
I had to do a double take. Really? And please, spare me the "but Reese is a double-double machine" argument. Double-doubles are great, but you know what's better?
Individual who has benefited more from the Caitlin Clark effect than Angel Reese. That's my hot take. Think about it. From going up against her, playing her in college, taking on that villain role, going into the league at the same time as Caitlin Clark, everything that she's said and done on social media or in post-game press conferences, she is a star because of Caitlin Clark. She would not be a star if Caitlin Clark weren't a player. She'd be just as good a women's basketball player. She'd have been picked high in the WNBA draft and would still be a good player. Yep. But she is a star because of Caitlin Clark.
She would be a star in women's basketball circles.
Well, that's not what I mean, though.
Yeah, no, I
she
know.
is a star in...
Being the reason people actually tune into games. ESPN used to downplay Clark's greatness, but now, even they can't deny it. She doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle. Her impact is undeniable. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's fans are scrolling endlessly, desperately trying to find her name, as if it's hidden in fine print. Sorry to break it to you, but 12th place isn't exactly superstar status. It's like showing up to a VIP party thinking you're the main event, only to get stuck outside while Caitlin Clark is already inside, owning the room. For the longest time, Caitlin Clark haters tried to force the narrative that Reese was on her level. Now, silence. Crickets. Funny how that works. And let's not pretend the reaction would be the same if the roles were reversed.
Massive rant last year with Kennedy Carter, I believe, standing next to her about how people are tuning in for her. It wasn't just one other person, but all these people are moving the needle and people want to watch her, except you're not her. You're not.
Imagine if Caitlin Clark were ranked 12th, while Angel Reese held the number 2 spot. Social media would be on fire. Sports shows would be dedicating entire segments to the controversy, and Reese's fans would be celebrating like it was a championship win.
That's selfish. That she don't want that smoke, Steve. She wants nothing to do with having to shoot the basketball. And I give her credit. It's self-aware.
But now that Reese is the one lagging behind, suddenly rankings don't matter? Oh, now ESPN's list is irrelevant? Convenient. Rankings do matter, especially when your whole persona is built around being a must-watch player. And Caitlin Clark? She's at number 2, though let's be real. She probably should be number 1. But she doesn't need the top spot to prove she's the face of women's basketball. She's already done that with record-breaking performances, sold-out arenas, and jaw-dropping highlights. This ranking is just the confirmation of what we've known all along. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, well, she knows it now too. Even on the court, she's aware. This might not really be her thing. Just look at this clip. Reese strips a player, runs down the court ahead of everyone, has an easy layup, and still passes the ball to the girl behind her. What was that? It seems like ESPN has finally caught up with reality. Remember last season when, against all logic, ESPN ranked Angel Reese above Caitlin Clark on the rookie list?
What the Indiana Fever did last night got me so excited. The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season.
Yes, above the same Caitlin Clark who was breaking records like it was her side hustle, pulling up from the logo, and making defenders question their careers. Meanwhile, what was Reese doing? Just vibing. Now, the truth is out, and the rankings reflect reality. Caitlin Clark isn't just great. She's a generational talent. Angel Reese? Maybe next time. Less talking, more hooping. Sure, she pulls down rebounds, credit where it's due. But outside of that, what are we really looking at? A highlight reel of missed shots, lackluster defense, and an offensive game that's about as empty as a vending machine after midnight. And yet, despite all this,
last year she was like 15 or something like that. Angel was like 19. And this year they got it closer to being right. It's more so, it's closer, okay? She's second. And I'm fine with that, you know what I mean?
she was hyped as one of the top rookies and even received a Rookie of the Year vote. Fast forward to today, and it seems like the experts have finally opened their eyes. Maybe they actually watched the games, stopped believing the TikTok hype, or just accepted reality. Either way, justice has been served.
The biggest thing for me is her not even responding to all that's going on. And I think that's commendable. I think she's a unicorn. She's doing everything I thought she was going to do and more, like win the MVP.
You think Caleb
That's not going to happen this year, but it could happen very soon.
It's great for the conversation.
Y'all all went to the Olympics and now y'all losing now. Y'all burnt out? Y'all should have let this young girl go over there and play.
I just don't think there's a correlation.
Nah, but she would because she's a rookie. You let these young play. Caitlin Clark is a superhero.
Because the more you watch Angel play, the clearer it becomes. She hasn't improved. In fact, she might have even regressed. She may be in the league, but let's be honest. Who wants to watch a 6 feet 6 inches player miss layups? Not me. Her shooting is inconsistent at best. Her defense feels like stat padding, and her offense? Let's just say, if her jumper had a personality, it would be shy, unreliable, and nowhere to be found when it matters most. Number 2 player in the entire league, but not on the Olympic team. Just putting that out there.
Caitlin Clark is somebody that is going to probably, she's going to, I would say, be, in my opinion, the second favorite for MVP. I think she is going to be the second favorite for MVP in the WNBA. That is how confident I am in Caitlin Clark's year.
And of course, the haters are still out there, saying Clark isn't better than Stewart, Fowles, or Ionescu. Blah, blah, blah. No matter what Clark does, she'll always have doubters. But let's not forget, Indiana Fever is stacking up to be a powerhouse. And this is exactly why last year's ESPN ranking made no sense. They really tried to convince us that Angel Reese was better than Caitlin Clark. Seriously? What were we watching?
Trying to investigate Indiana. I need Indiana investigated. Unfortunately for Indiana, I will be praying on their downfall. I will be praying for them to lose every single game. I just can't.
Clark was leading her team, rewriting WNBA history, and casually pulling up from the logo like it was just part of her routine. Meanwhile, Reese was grinding out the most painfully average double-doubles you've ever seen. Numbers that looked fine on paper but meant nothing in real games.
They are giving their star, Caitlin Clark, all the pieces she needs to be successful. And you have to clap for that, because this is what you do when you have superstar talent. You build a superstar team. And this is what the Indiana Fever have.
Now, after months of debates, excuses, and social media hype, the truth is impossible to ignore. Angel Reese's game just isn't on that level. The more she plays, the clearer it becomes. A'ja Wilson at number 1, Caitlin Clark at number 2, Breanna Stewart at number 3. And with that, the so-called great debate between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? Yeah, that never should have been a debate in the first place. The record is officially straight. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. Angel Reese? She's just there. Clark is redefining the game, breaking records, sinking logo threes, and making defenders look like they're moving in slow motion. And the best part? She does it all while Reese and her crew sit on the sidelines, throwing shade like it's their full-time job. Someone should probably remind Angel Reese, trash talk only works when you're actually backing it up. Otherwise, it's just noise. For O.